Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first webinar towards the call for ambassadors. My name is Harry Bikas. I'm here with my colleague Ulrich Tombansen, and we are going to present the call for ambassadors in the context of the airise project. Before we start, a couple of house rules. Please keep your microphones muted, and if you want to ask a question, you can do so by using the questions pane on your dashboard. And we will be going through the questions, if any, towards the end of this webcast. Starting by who we are and what we do. airise aims to support AI in manufacturing within Europe. And why we want to do that? We want to do that because SMEs are an important, are the important backbone of the European industry. They currently represent more than 99% of the total number of industrial enterprises within the EU, offering more than 59% of the total employment within the EU, and adding more than 40% of the manufacturing sector value. At the same time, we see that AI is not mature yet within manufacturing enterprises within the EU. Latest statistics from Eurostat in 2020 show that introduction of AI is very, very low. And this is across a couple of different technological domains, but it's still only a single-digit percentage across these industries. At the same time, we go through a boom phase of AI. AI is starting getting everywhere. We hear a lot about AI in our everyday lives with different tools that are supposed to make our lives easier. AI is not only about these fancy applications, it's also about making a real, actual impact in the manufacturing environment, in the manufacturing shop floor. And this is why we are here. So airise aims to empower manufacturing SMEs to deploy AI solutions in their shop floor. And this is our main goal. How do we do that? airise has envisioned a series of different service groups that are supposed to support operations from manufacturing SMEs. We have grouped these support groups in what we call service areas that range from engineering and design to supply chain considerations. And our mission is to help SMEs deploy AI applications, making a difference on those areas by offering technical expertise, but by also offering access to finance for that. The end goal is through AI to reduce waste, minimize carbon footprint, and ensure resilience of manufacturing companies. How we do that? We mentioned that we have these 5 different service areas. We also rely quite a lot on the external environment. So there are solutions that are already on the market that can be procured from the market, and solutions that it doesn't really make sense to develop from scratch or reinvent the wheel towards implementing them in SMEs. So in the context of airise, such solutions can be procured from the market. We only intervene and we only support SMEs from expertise from our side when it's needed. So when there's nothing on the market or when guidance is needed towards deploying these solutions in their premises. Overall, airise has very ambitious goals. So the idea is to address more than 1,500 SMEs. And at the end of the day, directly support more than 75 SMEs by executing experiments, by deploying AI in their shop floor, by deploying AI for them in trying to solving their specific challenges. How do we do that? How do we go from 1,500 SMEs to 75 SMEs? We have a funding scheme that starts by touching a basis with SMEs that are interested in deploying AI in their manufacturing environment and having a first discussion with them and have a basic screening of their ideas. We then sit down with them and we execute an assessment with them. With the goal here is to address 500 of them in the assessment that goes a bit deeper on what they want to do and discuss the feasibility of their ideas. Out of those 500 SMEs that are going to be assessed, we are going to receive proposals for funding for running an experiment. And an experiment in the language of AI, of airise, is to deploy an AI application in their shop floor. So we are going to go from 500 down to 60 that actually deploy AI in their shop floor and have a validated idea of what AI can do for them, hands-on idea of what AI can do for them. And out of those 60, we expect that 15 will go to full pilots, and this means a larger scale implementation of AI within their manufacturing environment. The way we address this challenge is by using different instruments. So the first part of screening and assessing SMEs and touching bases with SMEs comes from what we call the Ambassadors Program. And this is why we are here today to discuss a bit more on what the Ambassador Program is about and how it works. Whereas the actual implementation phase, both in terms of validation and pilot experiments, is going to come with direct support from airise Consortium. We already mentioned that we want SMEs to already procure solutions that are in the market instead of reinventing the wheel. This is why we came up with the ecosystem concept, which is also central in the idea of airise. The ecosystem aims to support SMEs again in using AI in manufacturing on different areas. We have set up the ecosystem in such a way that supports SMEs both in terms of commercially available components and solutions, such as sensors or IoT devices, for example, in terms of business-related services for AI engagement and upscaling, so how they can manage deployment of such solutions, how they can find access to finance, and what are the legal and ethical implications of AI implementation in their software. Research and solutions in terms of getting access to scientific algorithms and practical solutions that can help them share best practices, gain ideas, and cross-foster between their challenge and other successful experiments, as well as in standards and training in terms of sharing rules about application of AI and sharing knowledge about application of AI, also including skill up of employees through learning and training classes. That being said, we can dive into more details on the Ambassador Program, and I will leave the floor to my colleague, Ulrich Thomason, to guide you through that. Ulrich, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Harry. Yes, and you've nicely explained what is all on offer from airise as a team in the different areas, all in order to transfer an idea that an SME might have into a practical application. And with that, I mean, basically you see around this circle of SME clusters for manufacturing. On this, we need you. We want to reach maximum amount of people in SMEs that we can. And so we are looking for specific industrial sectors where these SMEs are connected. No matter if it is, let's say, on white goods, as you see there on the screen, if it's on agriculture, if it's on wind power or on specific IT topics, we are looking for AI in manufacturing. Now, if we think about how to do that, it is you to create what we call an involvement program. You have your members, and our idea is that you bring your members together, talk to them about AI, explain them what AI can do for them with respect to manufacturing, and then we go to a step that we call screening. In that step, we want to see if any of those companies have an interesting idea, so just have a very, very basic understanding of what they're aiming for. The next step then is assessment, which is coming to a, be it one-to-one or one to a couple, but a very much more in-depth discussion about the application idea. I'm also looking at key figures, key facts from that company, from that SME, how well they are already digitized, how the workforce is currently set up, and to clarify these key topics that are, at least from our perspective, a prerequisite for a real application. And if we have those people identified, it's going to go to an experiment. Now, what do you guys need to do in order to engage with us? you need to design a program on how to involve with your members, and very specifically how to involve. I mean, you're doing that on a regular basis, we guess, but really to do that on the topic of AI in manufacturing. You will screen application ideas of your members, and with a smaller amount of companies, with a smaller amount of members that have an in-depth interest in pursuing that topic, you will then conduct the assessments with your members on their AI ideas in manufacturing. Now, what do we do for that? That is, as we read on the bottom, we invite you to conduct a training with us. So we tell you about the key things of artificial intelligence on the very specific scope of manufacturing. So we're not going to talk about things that are like large language models, where you today ask open AI for solving a specific topic, but this is really going towards the shop floor. We will provide you material to explain this to your members. So you don't have to, let's say, create your own slide deck. You can take content from our slide decks in order to run your program. We also will provide you with the screening and assessment tools. So a structured approach to trying to understand in depth at a later time of what your members want to do. And on top of that, there's also funding available to run your program. So if you need to invite them to a specific location, if you need to invite them for a multi-day kind of event, whatever you can come up with and that is suitable for your members, you propose, we consider to fund you. And that brings me mainly to the call page. You find that under airise.eu calls. So there you find all the details with the templates on how to apply, with the guide for applicants, which in detail explains you the rules, like the funding quote that we give to you, and also the deadlines. So what you currently see on the screen, deadline end of July and deadline end of October. Those are the deadlines that you need to meet in order to be eligible. Now, I just saw a question saying, where do we submit that? You find that as well on the airise.eu page. There's a link, there's a button where you can start the submission. You have to enter a few details, but basically it's a PDF file based on the template that we provide with your plan, basically with your plan. So think about what your members might need, what your members might be interested in on artificial intelligence in manufacturing. Put that together, submit, and we'll see each other again with this team that you currently see on the screen. So it's a number of research organizations that are deeply involved in manufacturing. We all stand at that basis. So we put together the program for that experimenting SME in the end. And we're also connected to a couple of associations that support us in the different areas of Europe. And on the map, you see our coverage, our current coverage. But again, whichever country you're listening from, think about your SMEs, what they need, and apply. Harry, do you see any additional questions in the chat?
Thank you, Ulrich. At the moment, no, besides the one that you have already nicely solved about how people can apply. Again, I would like to state that the application process is very straightforward, although time is quite limited until the end of the month. Application process is very straightforward, so feel free to go there and apply. You'll figure out yourselves that it's quite easy, and we know that you already have similar activities. So we want you with us. We want your support in running this program. That's really, really important for us. And obviously, if there are more questions in the future, we will always be at your disposal. You can find our contact details, our social media handles on the slide, so please follow us for the latest news. You can also subscribe to our newsletter in the airise website, and looking forward to hearing from you.